When a brand new excavator or a high reach demolition rig rolls off the assembly line, gleaming in its factory fresh paint, it represents far more than just another piece of kit. It represents thousands of hours of intense human effort. Think back to the very beginning of that machine's story, to the miners working in tough, unforgiving conditions to extract the iron ore and raw minerals from the earth. Think of the design engineers and the skilled assembly technicians who spent their days ensuring that every weld was flawless and every hydraulic tolerance was exact. Tremendous care, pride, and genuine human skill are poured into creating these engineering marvels that are built to withstand the harshest environments on Earth. Yet a mere handful of years later, the industry looks at that same piece of equipment and decides it's past its sell by date, viewing it as ready for the scrap heap. It's an incredibly wasteful mindset. A machine engineered with such dedication is discarded simply because the hour meter has reached a certain digit or the lease period has expired. This is where the power of remanufacturing enters the frame, offering a way to honour that original craftsmanship while delivering massive economic and ecological advantages. From an environmental standpoint, the benefits of remanufacturing are undeniable. When an original equipment manufacturer takes a core machine and rebuilds it to original factory specifications, it sidesteps the entire energy intensive process of raw material extraction and basic fabrication. Up to 85% of the energy required to build a new machine is saved by remanufacturing an existing one. The carbon footprint drops dramatically, and thousands of tons of high grade steel are kept out of the smelting furnaces. Financially, it's equally compelling for plant owners. A properly remanufactured machine typically costs around 40% less than a new model, yet it comes with the latest specification and the same factory warranty and performance guarantees. It keeps capital in the business while keeping carbon out of the atmosphere. Beyond the hard numbers of spreadsheets and carbon accounting, there's a deeper, perhaps more profound element to this process that the modern industry all too frequently overlooks. There's a unique, unspoken bond between an operator and their machine. Anyone who's ever spent decades on a site knows that a plant item is a living history rather than an inanimate collection of steel and hoses. Over thousands of hours in the cab, an operator learns every quirk, every tremor, and the exact rhythm of that specific hydraulic system. The machine becomes an extension of the person operating it. When a machine is granted a second or a third life through remanufacturing, that vital human connection is preserved rather than severed. An operator who has spent years tracking a machine through deep mud and concrete rubble gets to see that companion restored to its prime rather than being sent off to auction. There's a deep psychological value in operating a piece of equipment that carries a history, a lineage, and a shared story of hard work. To give a machine a second or third life is to validate the years of care the operator invested in maintaining it. It fosters a culture of stewardship rather than one of thoughtless disposal, reinforcing the pride of craftsmanship that really should define our industry. We regularly celebrate the veteran operator on site, the individual who's seen it all, done it all, and possesses an irreplaceable wealth of practical knowledge gained over decades in the cab. We place an immense value on that human experience, recognizing that their skill can mean the difference between a project being profitable or disastrous. Yet there's a strange hypocrisy in how we treat the equipment. We rightly revere the wisdom of the individual, but we simultaneously undervalue the very tool that helped them acquire that expertise. The machine that stood by them through every challenging project, adapting to every command and absorbing the punishment of the job, is treated as entirely disposable. It seems contradictory to honour the mileage of the person while treating the mileage of the machine as a reason for its destruction. However, despite these clear emotional, environmental, and financial advantages, two major roadblocks continue to stand in the way of widespread adoption of remanufacturing. The first obstacle is a deeply ingrained cultural bias held by clients, developers, and Tier 1 contractors. There is a persistent demand on modern sites for nothing but brand new plant. The argument usually put forward is that new machines are inherently more reliable and cleaner for the environment. But it's a flawed argument. A remanufactured machine is stripped down to the bare frame, thoroughly tested, and rebuilt with the latest upgrades. Furthermore, older machines can be easily retrofitted with modern emissions-compliant engines and exhaust after-treatment systems during the rebuild process. A remanufactured unit can meet the exact same ultra-low emission zone standards as a machine that rolled off the production line last week. But convincing a risk-averse client of that reality remains an uphill struggle. And the second obstacle rests squarely with the manufacturers themselves. Almost every major global brand now offers an excellent remanufacturing service. They have the technology, the facilities, and the expertise to do it brilliantly. But at their core, these multinational corporations have spent the last century building their reputations, their dealer networks, and their ultimate profitability on a single business model: selling a new machine, supporting it for a few years, and then replacing it with another new machine. Shifting the corporate paradigm from high-volume manufacturing to a circular closed-loop system requires a complete wiring of their financial DNA. It's difficult to promote a rebuilt machine with full enthusiasm when your entire corporate structure is geared toward hitting a new unit sales target. Overcoming these hurdles will require a fundamental shift in how the construction and demolition sectors define progress. True sustainability is not about constantly buying new technology. It's about respecting the incredible amount of human effort and natural resources that went into our machinery in the first place, and having the wisdom to make it last.